A plea for help tonight to give a name to the nameless. Imagine a family member went missing decades ago and you never found out what happened to them. Well, tonight at 6, we brought you the story of a murder in Cleveland Heights from the 1980s that was actually solved by police. But the victim's identity, Tiffany, is still unknown.
Well, 19 Investigates found there are more than 50 cases of unidentified bodies in Cuyahoga County. Investigator Sarah Goldenberg is here with Unidentified.
About 1,000 people found dead across the country are still unidentified 1 year later. Their families left wondering what happened to them. We have a look behind the scenes at how the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office is trying to bring families answers.
Evidence talks for the decedent.
Angie Fisher is like a detective, finding a voice for those who have passed. She's a parentage analyst for the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. Her department uses DNA relationship testing to confirm biological relationships like maternity and paternity between known and unknown people.
So it's sad to me and other people that work on these cases that they don't have names or someone is wondering where they are.
These people sometimes missing and forgotten. Other times, murder victims in high-profile cases like convicted serial killer Anthony Sowell. The bodies of nearly a dozen women discovered at his Imperial Ave home in 2009.
Our department was able to identify those 11 victims in a relatively short period of time. We tested 60 people to get those 11 identifications done.
But often it takes years to identify someone, and when they do,
the family members laugh and cry at the same time. They're just so grateful. They don't feel guilty anymore that they weren't able to find their loved one.
But then it's back to it, figuring out the next case. Fisher is working to identify 55 people whose cases stretch back decades, all the way to 1968. And there are more people to enter into their system. These are some of the faces of the nameless.
I'm hoping that if someone is missing someone, that if they've already reported them missing back to the 60s or 70s and nothing's been done, re-report them missing.
19 Investigates found they usually died tragically, from drownings to falls and other accidents, suicide, and murder. If the medical examiner's office can't identify a body, they go to fingerprints, photographs, x-rays, and dental records. If that doesn't work, the case comes to Fisher's department. She enters everything they find into nameless, a national online search for missing persons and unidentified persons.
We enter case demographics. We enter where the person was found, when they were found.
Clothing, belongings, autopsy results, including medical conditions, all entered too.
It's something that would stand out, that would be helpful to be an identifier, 6 toes or 6 fingers or things like that.
If they can, they build a DNA profile that goes into nameless too. It's compared to the 80 to 90,000 missing persons reported every year. But their budget doesn't include the latest technology making headlines, genetic genealogy. You're saying all this new technology is great, but it can be costly, right?
It's extremely costly. It costs around $5,000 a case to have a genetic genealogy family sample case run.
Which is why they do everything else they can in the meantime to identify these people. But they need your help. If you know someone who's missing, they're asking this.
Be willing to maybe submit your DNA.
Even if one of these unidentified bodies is not your loved one, DNA can rule them out.
All our abilities are exhausted at this point. And it's frustrating because these men are somebody's sons or husbands or dads, and the same with the women, as somebody's moms or daughters. And so it would be nice to give them a name regardless of how it is that they passed.
If you have a missing family member and want to submit DNA, it does not go into an offender database. Your DNA would be entered as the family member of a missing person. If you have any questions, call the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. The number is on your screen. We'll be profiling some of these cases starting this Friday. Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.